This valley hugs the Urubamba River and leads to Peru's most popular tourist attraction, the one-time Inca royal estate, Machu Picchu. It's Peru's sacred valley of the Incas, now traversed by a railway which brings more than 1 million tourists every year to the country's #1 draw. This landscape, sculpted by the Inca civilization, has changed remarkably little in centuries, as have many of the customs among the people here. Nearly all the tourists come on stopover flights from Peru's capital Lima to the small airport in Cusco, once the capital of the Inca Empire. Its name means the navel of the universe, and today that seems strangely prophetic. The whole world is here, in the faces of the tourists who come from far and wide. But Peruvian authorities have long held that one airport is not enough for the location at the heart of the country's tourist industry. Now building has begun for a new airport, closer to Machu Picchu, the place at the top of the trip list for nearly every one of these tourists. Famous for its textiles and its archaeology, Chinchero is the gateway to the sacred valley of the Incas. It's also the spot where a new international airport is planned to be built, bringing tourists closer to the top attraction, Machu Picchu, but also raising fears among locals and academics that low-flying planes could ruin the tranquility of this sacred landscape. Tourists come and go through this historic town. The locals are grateful for the custom, but many, like Alejandrina Contreras, also enjoy the peace and quiet.
En Chinchero estamos tranquilos, no hay ni rateros, ni delincuentes, no hay. Ajá. Pero va a haber progreso, pero muchas cosas va a pasar. El avión va a venir, es internacional, día y noche no nos va a dejar ni dormir.
And younger resident 20-year-old Karen Aucapuma is equally nonplussed about the prospect of an airport on her doorstep.
Yo no estoy tan de acuerdo con eso del aeropuerto porque la contaminación que va a haber, todo eso, más que todo por el medio ambiente, mucha contaminación. Y no estaría de acuerdo con el ruido también. Sí, contaminación acústica, contaminación en el aire, muchas cosas y enfermedades también que va a traer.
But the building is already underway. An army of lorries and bulldozers have shifted millions of tons of earth. Archaeologists say this is not just prime farmland, but also part of a sacred landscape for a pre-Hispanic culture which prevails to this day. An airport of this size is incompatible with a town of such historic importance. Academic Pablo del Valle explains.
Resulta de alguna manera contradictorio de que estando aquí nomás el Valle Sagrado a 20 minutos, ¿no? Donde está el núcleo mismo de la cultura inca, se quiera construir un aeropuerto. Es decir, se quiera construir un aeropuerto encima de aquello que precisamente los turistas vienen a ver.
Faced with mass tourism, few places like Chinchero are so well preserved. Archaeological sites abound in the Sacred Valley, but a new airport would put them at risk, says Del Valle.
Los estudios señalan que los aviones atravesarán el pueblo de Urubamba a solo 1 minuto de vuelo y con un estimado de ruido sumamente alto. Pero luego la cosa es peor. La cosa se vuelve peor porque los aviones atravesarán el íntegro de parte a parte del Parque Arqueológico de Antaitambo, que tiene 34.000 hectáreas. Muchas de las zonas que atravesarán los aviones estarán en riesgo porque las zonas del Parque Arqueológico tienen diferentes altitudes y los aviones pasarán muy cerca de zonas que son zonas arqueológicas protegidas.
A second airport for Cusco, which can take longer haul flights from cities like Miami or Buenos Aires, has been a long-held dream to boost visitor numbers. Cusco needs a second airport, Peru's president, Martín Vizcarra, said on a recent visit there.
Cusco es nuestro referente de destino turístico en el país, por Machu Picchu. Cada vez vienen más turistas y tenemos un aeropuerto como el Velasco Astete que ya está saturado. Necesitamos otro aeropuerto.
Different towns have vied to get the airport concession, but since Chinchero won it, it's creating more problems than solutions, says the town's mayor, Luis Cusicuna.
Bueno, este aeropuerto lo hemos esperado ya casi 40 años, hace mucho tiempo, ha estado en idea y durante varios gobiernos no se ha llegado a concluir. Sin embargo, en esta oportunidad, ya con este gobierno se ha dado inicio, pero no estamos empezando como nosotros quisiéramos, ¿no? No están resolviendo sus necesidades, como por ejemplo el problema del saneamiento básico, las vías de comunicación, su plan de desarrollo urbano. Esos problemas están generando un conflicto social.
Since 2012, the state has been buying up land for the airport's construction. The inhabitants of one indigenous community, Yanacona, sold virtually all their land and were paid around $30 per square meter, says the village leader Alfredo Japuma.
Inicialmente se ha dado como una oportunidad, en vista de que la comunidad campesina Yanacona inicialmente pensó que era una oportunidad. Hoy por hoy se está viéndose que no siempre es una oportunidad. Mientras que el Estado como Estado no da las condiciones para desarrollar esta comunidad en sus dos franjas, yo imagino de que siempre va a haber esos impactos negativos.
Porque a ellos no les afecta, claro, por supuesto que...
Japuma was earning less than 1 cent per kilo of potatoes grown on this land when he was offered $300,000 per hectare. He took the money, as did many of his fellow villagers, but he says many, not used to such large amounts of cash, squandered the windfall. Others, along with outsiders, have invested in the tourism boom ahead. This is one of Cusco's major water sources, the Puray Lake. It's on one side of Chinchero, and the new airport is being built on the other side. Between here and there, land is being bought speculatively, and hotels and guest houses are shooting up in the expectation of an eventual tourism windfall. Beyond its sacred landscape, the valley is a cradle for ancestral culture, and Chinchero's hallmark is its traditional textiles. They're coloured using natural dyes made from plants. Cochinilla is the red colorant which comes from a cactus. The fabrics are woven in the same time-honoured way these women learnt from their grandmothers. The Incas considered these textiles to be more valuable than gold. And in a culture which had no writing, the woven designs transmitted messages through the generations. As the prospect of the airport looms over the town, NILDA CALLANAUPA, the founder of this textile centre, worries these customs will be lost.
It was a very strong community, and now people will be so much mixed up the traditions of the islands, the communities. It's already disappearing. The respect to the land, you know, that we got rotation system, that's disappearing also. Many things, you know, marriage system, cultural, language, environmental issues, ritual, of course weaving, traditional textiles, and all kinds of things will change.
She admits the airport could bring jobs, and many other townsfolk welcome the prospect of development.
I hate that word, development, because development of what? You know, development of who, what's going to bring, and like that. So development you can see from many different ways, in my opinion. And this airport, I say more, if I measure, it will be more a negative part than the positive part.
Every year brings more tourists. Machu Picchu attracted 1.4 million visitors in 2016. The site is overcrowded. Daily visitor numbers at 5,000 are double the limit of 2,500 people a day recommended by the United Nations Cultural Agency. A closer and bigger airport may boost tourism numbers, jobs and economic indicators. Locals fear an important part of the Incas' history could be lost along the way.